React to bear versus man. Thank you for asking this one. This is another key example of why women as a collective are problematic right now in the United States of America. Men have their issues. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of men that are broke, chubby, losers, without charisma, who are overweight or obese. Do not get me wrong. The dating pool of men today is terrible. And it continues to be a struggle for women to find a good man out of that. I am not going to say that there are not problems with men. I was in the military. I knew grown men who didn't even shower, who like they had dirt under their fingernails. They had to be told by their superiors to shower. I'm not saying men don't have issues. Trust me. I know they do. However, no, why would I want to run into a bear instead of a man? Bruh, any woman who is team bear is the enemy. Any woman who is team bear is the enemy, okay? Because it's nonsensical to try to continue to irrationally stoke fear in other young women who are younger, prettier, and happier than you. No. Team bear, enemy. Done. Cut him out of your life. TikTok trending question about being stuck in a forest with a man or a bear yields strategic tips. A popular TikTok, I'm gonna call it TikTok. Popular TikTok trend has women responding to the question, would you rather be stuck in the forest with a man or a bear? Many women say immediately that if they had to choose between the two, they'd prefer to be stuck with a bear. The trend began on April 10th with a TikTok video posted by Screenshot HQ account. In the 29-second video, only one of the 8 women who were asked the question replied that they would rather be stuck with a man in the woods. Buy a dog, die alone. It's okay. Buy a dog, die alone. Because what do you mean only one of 8 women wanted to be with a man? I have so many questions.
There's nothing wrong with being a 6. It's not a 1. It's not a 2. It's not a 3. It's not a 4. And it's not a 5. 6 is good.
All the rest opted for the bear. Men are scary, said one woman. They said the men, they are terrible. And they just want to punch us in the face. I hate these guys. But I don't hate them enough to stop asking them to pay my rent. But men are scary. Whatever. On X, the question continued to be debated, with some women saying people would believe them if they were attacked by a bear rather than a man. Listen and really soak this in. The worst thing a bear can do is unalive me. I cannot say the same about a man. This is women saying that grape is worse than death. Just let that sink in. And I understand it because I think that that is a woman's biggest primordial fear, is to have their actual agency stripped from them. But in the one instance, you survive and you can live a fully functional life, hopefully, if you go to therapy. Hopefully. Not always. I know enough women who've had that happen to them and, they do overcome. But the other side is you don't breathe anymore. Like, you're unalive. You're DED. You're done. You exist. So if the one thing is years of therapy and then the other thing is no exist, okay, fine. I'll concede on that because I do think it is a primordial fear for women. I will concede, but I'm not saying that it's the most logical thing. By the way, how dangerous really are bears in the woods? And what should people do to stay safe regardless of the species they might encounter? The National Park Service suggests that people stay calm if they're noticed by a bear, as most bears do not want to attack you. They usually just want to be left alone.
Man is scary.
With a bear.
What I've heard about bears, they don't always attack you, right? Unless you fuck with them. So maybe a bear.
Depends what man, but probably a bear.
100% a bear, which is terrifying to say, but
Definitely a bear. Some men are very scary out there.
A bear.
I would say a man.
Anyway, the last woman in there is wifey material. I hope you all can, find her, email her. Are women just out here getting attacked by men often? Is this a thing? I have questions as well. Your average woman in the United States of America weighs 170 pounds. I'm not saying that men are not fat too. Men are fat. They are. But they're not hiking anyway. This reminds me of all the women that complain about the inability to run at night. When I am a runner, I don't even recommend for men to run at night. That sounds like you're asking for a criminal to do something terrible for you. People don't want to say that, but do you want your older mom? Would you be comfortable with your older mom running at night? Why? For what? For why? She can't run during the day? You guys would not want that. Women would not want that. So when I hear women talking about like, we can't run at night, y'all are not even running during the day to begin with, because most of y'all are 170 pounds. When did women as a group suddenly decide that they would even be in a situation to run into a bear, much less a man, because y'all are single anyway? Okay, that one did not make logical sense, but how are these women running into bears? And they just presupposing that they'll be very fortunate to run into a bear that is not a mama bear near its cubs, because those are the most ferocious bears. The mama bear trope is real. You know what? I want to run into a man in the woods because my phone's probably close to dying and he probably has a battery pack that I need. I'll bet none of those women haven't been attacked by a man. It's not as common as people would say. I'll tell you that. It's not as common as women would think. I think that there really are female issues. I think we are the physically weaker sex. I think that we do need protection against bad men from good men. But I'm just not seeing a lot of evidence that there's just a bunch of dudes coming out and punching women in the face, unless, you know, maybe this is New York City. Look, man, no, I'm not trying to run into these guys and they're serious right now. Come on. Really? Really? Interesting, ladies. This is what women are more comfortable running into in the woods instead of a man, and men are on average like 5'9". You out of your mind? Like, this is why you guys are on antidepressants. By the way, I also would like to know if a woman this is so bad. I saw a tweet before I get canceled. People are racist. I saw a tweet one time that said, I want to know if women would choose between a black man and a bear in the woods. You can go look at my Twitter. Look, I just would be interested in hearing what these women had to say. I feel like they might have changed the answer. And this is not to be mean. It's just to say that there are certain demographics of liberal women who are like covertly racist. You know what I mean? But they want to act like they're not. I just want to show you guys the size of the bear paw so that you can see that women would rather run into this than a man. And I think the descriptor for the man was that he was a strange man. I'm not gonna lie, like, strange men make me uncomfortable. Creepy men make me uncomfortable. But in terms of what would make me probably pee my pants right there on the spot, it's gonna be a bear. Not like the weird guy that looks like a serial unaliver. It's gonna be the bear that like shakes me to my core. I'm not even comfortable going to the zoo and watching the tigers. They're like a little bit too close for me. One time I went to the zoo, there was a chimp and he looked like he was from Planet of the Apes. He had cauliflower ear, battle scars, cataracts. He looked like he'd been in some fights. And I just felt like it was too sophisticated for me. I felt like he knew what I was saying. I was there with my child. I was uncomfortable. And I left the chimp room because it was scary. So if you're all talking about this bear, look, buy a dog, die alone, whatever. People aren't getting coupled up anyway. Men don't have girlfriends. Women don't have boyfriends. I'm done.